Boom, boom, boom. Stay locked, because we're the bomb.
Who's humming? Which one of you is humming? Any which way, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is Boombar right here on your Boom Radio NG, and my name is Dolupo.
Okay, my name is Tokunbo Ojekunle. How are you doing? Nice protest today.
Yeah, and my name is Sola Rogers. I was just telling Dolupo that she was slightly off mic. I could barely hear her, but Dolupo was speaking off mic. You, fantastic. I don't know what you're doing lately.
No, she fixed it.
But you're just, your voice is coming through.
Crisp, right?
Yeah. So, of course.
When one is cursed, that's what happens.
On your own, no. This is the Boombar. We don't talk about scarce money alone. We also talk about a whole lot of things. We like to say it's music, sports, politics, and everything in between. Tokunbo made reference to protest, and I think he just got back from protesting against God knows what. He will tell us in full detail.
I joined the Oyo State governor. Yeah.
Then you flew down to Lagos.
I could join in spirit, yeah.
Oh, you joined him in spirit.
Dolupo, I don't really be there. Do I need to be in Oyo State?
What's my
This fine. Wrong choice.
Wrong person.
Wrong choice. Sorry.
It's
fine.
So
It's fine.
So
It's
today
fine.
we're talking about the protest, the different perspectives to it, but there's also something about the Oronsaye Report, world famous. Someone referred to it as the Olusosun dust file. Olusosun is a trash heap somewhere on the outskirts of Lagos, where they gather trash.
It's not. Is it outskirts anymore?
It used to be outskirts.
It used to be.
Okay.
It's not outskirts anymore.
That's a good one, Dolupo. Yes.
Before people like this
Outskirts,
Yeah. You want to mention my name again?
These two decided to expand the scope of Lagos. But on the real, it's something that we intend to look at
Road.
in detail and break it down amongst other things. There's PDD in the news. There's Mavins in the news. So we say it's music, sports, politics, and everything in between. If you check out the headline as it scrolls, we're also going to talk about JUJU in football. JUJU.
I can't wait for that.
Anyway, it's also a few things that we're going to be talking about today, like he said. And then, you know what, let's start from the conversation around the protest. So NLC began their protest today nationwide, different cities, Jos, Lagos, Ibadan, Abuja, all sorts of places. So it's been very interesting, and there have been a lot of things that has happened in different places. For example, let's start from the federal capital. In the federal capital, it's been announced that for the first time since protests has always gone to the... Why can I hear myself?
I think that's me. Carry on. Sorry.
Okay.
My mistake.
It's all right.
Okay, so it was recorded that for the first time
Abuja.
when protests are being led to the National Assembly, the gates are always locked. But for the first time, people were actually allowed into the National Assembly.
They welcomed them, though.
Yes, they were actually welcomed.
Anybody receiving them?
I don't know, but I saw a video and they actually talked about how this is the first time because gates are always locked.
There was access.
Yes, but so I think it speaks a lot of volume of things. It's we're human beings.
It does.
It might not do a lot of things, but I think it gives a sense of at least you were not deaf.
Okay. Yes.
I think it actually
And
does.
that you're free to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
For as long as you do not go overboard.
I think it also that kind of thing would most likely even douse tension.
Of course it
From
would.
the people that are we remember that this NLC, this protest, there's already a lot of quanta over it, and also the TUC did not join.
you didn't
For the past,
join.
yes, for the past few days, there's been
Yes.
conversations around how the TUC and the NLC have had issues, and you're wondering like, okay, shouldn't you both be like on the same page?
No,
Aren't you
right.
supposed to be like trade unions and
Yes.
you know?
Report has it that TUC actually said they were not involved in
In the planning.
planning.
So is it about an ego thing? Because at the end of the day, if the protest is going to help people or is going to gain what's the word now, profitable
Yeah.
results, why not join?
Yes,
Is it just that everybody just
I
wants
think
to?
I think things are changing gradually. You see, strategies must change. You can't continue to do things the old way and expect to get results. More than ever, I think they've tried hard to hold on the dialogue pattern, and government on its own side has also shown some sense of maturity, which has been great, because we are yet to get into the reports from the other states. There
Yeah.
was a time when we're planning it, we got to know that the police, okay, actually rode side by side with them, and offered them biscuits or
Yeah, in Lagos.
water. Yeah,
yes.
in Lagos.
Well, I was getting to
I
that.
said, look,
but since we're there,
we're not in this, but make sure you do everything according to the law. And I must confess, that was where I felt the protests, because coming from where I'm coming from, the hoodlums will join. Area situations will go gaga. And before you know what's happening, we didn't do it, but people joined you in destroying things. So, so far, so good. It's been a stretch of peaceful protest.
yeah, I think those kind of things tend to douse tension, like you said in Lagos. I'm sure I saw an interview where someone, one of the protesters, and they were practically shocked. I actually saw a video of boxes of biscuits and packs of bottled water being given out by the police. I'm guessing that is on the bill of the police.
You read my mind. I was going to ask whose bill.
I'm guessing it's the bill of the police, because at the end of the day, please, how much was really used for this thing? But it probably helped, instead of using force, that singular action.
Yeah.
Kudos to whoever thought about it.
Yes,
Yeah,
I wonder.
it's that singular action most likely helped a lot of people's psyche. Like when we're talking about the one in Abuja where the National Assembly gates have never been opened. It might have been two different approaches, but it ended up having the same effect.
It did to a large extent. Yeah, I except in Ibadan, we had a different thing, your
Yeah.
state, where the governor was part of it. And if you looked at that, you're going to go on the larger map and say, well, he supported them. He came out and said, am I on your side, or you are on my side?
So I have a problem with that.
What's the problem?
You know, we're talking about how different things were done differently this time with this kind of protest that seemed to, a normal day would have had maybe violence here or there, which has helped douse a lot of tension. Could it have helped douse a lot of tension because the governor came out? Most likely. But I have a problem with the motive. It's the same way they go to the National Assembly and the gate was open, and if the Senate President decided to protest with them. If I'm correct, this protest is against the government.
Government policies.
Government. I don't think it's just policies. Government.
Okay.
The people there, the policies, everything, the government, and how the government is, and their policies are not helping the common man, yeah? If I'm correct, Nigerian government comprises of the federal, the state, and the local government. In Nigeria right now, the state government controls the state and the local government. It is what it is. Let's call it spade a spade. Now, if part of the protest, if the protest is against the government, meaning that you're protesting policies that the federal government did, also you're looking at policies and things or palliatives and how even the federal and the state and the local government could alleviate people's pain and suffering. So, the governor is part of people they are protesting against.
Okay, now he joins them.
What's the point?
What's the point? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He's part of people you are protesting against. What if we look at it from that angle? We can tell you, go to Lagos State and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that the governor has done. Come down to go to Ogun State. There's been announcements upon announcements of people getting palliatives, how there's transport, how things have happened. Transport has helped some people. You go to Borno State, how some governor is paying this and that. How you go to the FCT, how the minister had doled out money to people. And go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I'm not saying all states, but the governors that you can say to a large extent that has at least done something.
Okay.
Yeah? These are people that there's been back and forth with what the Senate president said, and he was one I was like, they didn't give them 30 billion. Yes, they didn't give you 30 billion, but you're getting extra from the FAC allocation every single month.
Every month.
A lot of you still get bailouts and all these things.
Yeah.
And now, what tangible thing has the governor of Oyo State done?
No. I'm going to stop you a bit if you don't mind. Shola read something. Shola, you're going to go. Come on, talk. Shola is going to go back on that chart and read something. Let's have you give that insight into the placards, the inscriptions on the placards. Yes.
Okay. Well,
and if you find your governor in the heat of that, he shows is for them, and he's also saying, "Give us food, no more food. Bring fuel down." Those are the inscriptions. Can you go through those inscriptions and let's see? I want to find out exactly what would be charging in his mind when he followed the flow.
Well, as a politician, I think the governor was smart to have done what he did. I have a quote.
Okay.
I don't know if I've used it more than once, but I like to say that there's a thin line between protest and riot.
Okay.
A very thin line.
Okay.
Between protest and riot. And most protests leads to riots. And riots, of course, is chaos and all of that. We'll come back to why I said that. So, the inscription that you're talking about is from an image that we looked at from the protest in Ibadan, Oyo State.
Yes.
Where the people were talking about how the IMF and the World Bank, are doing something wrong with their involvement with the Nigerian government, how subsidy is a scam. Those were their exact words. But maybe they mean another thing because there's no more fuel subsidy anyway, but maybe their own line means something else. I don't know. And how, you should end poverty and hunger in the land, amongst other things that they had listed out. And the reason why most of us felt off air that the governor should not be a part of such, but is there's something that Dolupo Ojekunle he's a populist, and they usually play to the gallery. We're talking about Governor Makinde of Oyo State now. However, it's all born out of people not understanding in its entirety the structure of government.
Okay.
It is born out of how we need to re-educate ourselves and the people out there, especially Nigerians, that the governor is a part of government. Even if he's not a member of that party that is in government, he is a part of them. The chairman of your local government or your LCDA is a part of government. Your councillor is a part of government. But we always vent our spleen at the center. Always look at the president. The president from as far back as you can. Oh, Obasanjo did this. Yar'Adua did that. Jonathan did this.
Even up until now,
Buhari
we're still
that.
talking about those
Tinubu
regimes.
did this.
We're still referring to those regimes. You're right.
Forgetting that regardless of what you think your president did or did not do, the government that is closest to you is the one that's hurting you the most, because they're the ones that have failed, to bring governance closer to you.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason why we have governors and we have
Local.
governments and we have the councillors. This is the real problem. I know that when the government talked about paying some kind of subsidy palliative to workers, government workers, for 6 months. At least we heard that they paid up until January. And the 6th month is actually February.
Yeah.
Which means that they're most likely going to stop after the last batch of payments. I know that when the federal government started, a few state governments also followed suit and they started doing that. Last week, the governor of Lagos had a sit down with the media across board, different media houses. And he mentioned, for instance, the return of the 25% rebate on transportation on all government-owned transport systems, which involve rail, water, and land. Not only that, they created a fresh food hub in Mushin. They're building a way bigger one in Ekpe, and they plan to build several more. And they also talked about 42 Sunday markets where people can buy, produce from the farm, direct from the farm to your home.
Yeah, which will be cheaper though.
Way cheaper. There's a limit though. I think you can't buy more than 25,000 because it must go round. A minimum. And again, they also have a partnership with a payment platform called Momo. So if you play with Momo, you get a 25% rebate. We know what in Kwara. Then again, the governor of Lagos also said, look, Lagos state workers from a certain level down, you don't have to come to work every day anymore. Back to the period of COVID when people would stay back at home for weeks or days. They were back to that now to reduce their expenses. Their salaries are not going to be reduced.
It won't be.
So you can make some savings by
the same government, should I quickly, also went into health.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in health, they're saying that. Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. They talked about how people can give birth to babies now for free, even including what we call the cesarean section that costs a lot of money. And all of this is part of the palliatives to make life easier. If a governor of one state can list all of this, all the other 35 governors must list something close to it, if not better. In Borno State, the governor is giving out entire houses, like people are getting houses. People who had lost their homes, who have been living in IDP camps and all of that. They're getting houses, they're getting, food stuff, they're getting money, and they're also getting grains to go into farming and for those who want to. In Kwara, the same thing. Governor Kwara is doing a whole lot. We need to hear more of these things from all the governors.
All governors.
Yeah.
So when we protest, and please don't get it wrong, you have a right to protest. I've been saying something. You see that thing, we drag him. You understand? Because he said that, look, he applied for the job. He even danced for it. And he has gotten it. So he's not adverse to people criticizing him and correcting him when he's wrong.
He won't be.
So drag him. But while you're dragging him, drag Sheyi Makinde too. Drag Lucky Ayedatiwa. Drag Alex Oti. Don't treat any of them as different from
make it make sense. That's where my own
they are all involved.
Make it make sense.
Make the protests make sense.
Joining you, I'm sorry, it's one of the people that you should probably you are protesting against. No, okay, don't stone people though, but
yeah, there's a thin line, remember, between protest
and riots.
If anybody just like, what are you doing here? Do you understand? Except you want to come and announce that, okay, this from today onward, you're going to be doing this for the people of the state. Other than that, I'm sorry, it does not make any sense to me.
It's not looking good. Why would he be in the midst of that?
The NLC, Nigeria Labour Congress president, I think it's president that is called, or chairman, has also come out to say, look, it is not about minimum wage alone. It is about the hunger in the land. After all, not everybody is a member of the NLC.
Absolutely.
So that they are protesting about the hunger in the land, and that government has also made some failed promises to them. On that list that Tokunbo was asking me to reel out was also the fact that they are demanding that all the refineries, government-owned refineries, should be producing or refining oil locally. And they are not happy with it. They're also talking about how government is saying they want to start, there's one of their social plans. Yesterday at the Federal Executive Council, they made some massive, pronouncements. I say massive because, okay, this is me digressing, but it's still going to bring us back to the same point. There is a coastal road that I've heard about for 20-something years now. Do you understand?
Yes.
And yesterday, finally, they said, let it start. And let it start immediately. The beauty of that coastal road is that you can drive from Lagos to Port Harcourt without having to go through the entire, going through Shagamu to
going through the hinterlands, particularly. So you are on the outer stretch.
Yeah, basically from there, which means that your journey will be shorter. It also means that they need to build a lot of bridges and everything. But one of the things that happens when you build new road networks is that it develops that access.
Yeah.
People want to go there to buy land, to build hotels and hospitals, and also basically just go live there and build schools and everything. So this is massive. I've always felt that looking at the map of Nigeria, it doesn't make any sense that you're going to Port Harcourt, which is like another extreme from Lagos, but both on the same coastal line. But you have to go through the interland to get there. It doesn't make any sense. So yesterday they made that pronouncement, and while they made that pronouncement, again, to allay the fears of people, it's going to be a build, operate, transfer situation with iTech. Now, iTech is a very good road construction company, and they're already working on the coastal road in Lagos. Anyway, the Ekpe axis is already being constructed by them with concrete. So it might be the same thing that they're going to deploy all the way. And I was very excited about that. So while they were making that pronouncement, they also talked about how it is going to be deployed, the social safety network and safety net. Like they're going to start paying young people some kind of stipend, way back they used to call it gyro. I remember when my boys were in England,
gyro, yes.
they call it gyro, they call it Baba.
It's now called
it was UB40, and that's where the group got their name from.
the group itself,
because they actually met on the line trying to collect unemployment benefits. So that's the UB is unemployment benefits for zero.
Wow.
UB40.
Great connection, right?
UB40. That's
UB40. That was how they came through.
That's how they formed that massive group.
Okay.
And you see the kind of beauty that they have. So,
but here now it's called US something.
Knowing that the background
security, but it's all about social security. It's all about giving them money. Yeah,
right. Pending when you get a job. Yeah, a lot of young people are out there, and it's what is important now.
To me, that's brilliant, really. Yeah. Come to think of it.
What is important now is that you must go get your BVN sorted out and your NIN sorted out. This is what they're going to use, because eventually, after they have mapped the database, I heard that before the end of this year, the NIN will become the sole identifier for Nigerians. You get, it's like your NI number in America.
Security
but in Nigeria it's NIN. So in all of this, what they are saying is that they want to start. But back to the protest, the chairman of the Labour Congress is saying they keep saying what they want to do, but they're just about to start that. He wants to see action, and he wants Nigerians to get some kind of succor from this government.
I think he's right. He's right on the score, really, because going by what we've heard in the past, we've had so many abandoned, you expect me to say projects, no, abandoned policies that will shine up all of a sudden and then it goes down, goes crashing because nothing has been done. And by the way, that's going to be one of the things we'll be talking about as well.
Sorry, I wanted to say, please, is it okay that to start calling out governors on this show?
Well, what's our job? Because nothing, as long as we're doing it within the confines of the law. We've been praising people, so why can't we call people out?
I think last week there was an announcement that the Oyo State governor had announced, I think the palliatives for the civil servants and all that, yeah? So, on that note, you can say, okay, maybe he's even done something. Please, if I'm correct, please, what is it that the Oyo State governor is doing? Or has done?
No, he's going to provide buses for people to ride in.
Going to?
Yeah, they were painting them a couple of days or weeks ago. Okay. The buses will be deployed. I know.
Are they new buses?
It's
okay. No, I just wanted to ask.
I can't answer that
Okay.
honestly. I can't answer it
Okay.
honestly, and I'm supposed to be honest.
Okay.
So, speaking about buses, one of the
So there's supposed to be construction of boreholes.
yeah, they're going to do that. They
in
say
Ocean, right?
in different
Yeah.
parts of the state.
States.
The governor said that they're going to do that.
Borehole. Are we? We're in 2024, right?
Yeah, what's wrong with boreholes? As long as people can get, clean water, even if it's not pipe borne, as long as it's clean water, they have
Okay.
access to water.
Yeah, I get where Dolupo is coming from.
I get where she's coming from too, but you know
You know what? You know what?
the governor of Osun has
The
said
governor of
the
Osun
things
said
that he
what?
wants to do. Do you understand?
Anyway,
He has said the things he wants to do. No, we're not seeing anything. I'm sorry.
How are you not seeing it? How are you not seeing it? Have you spoken to the people on ground? How are you not seeing
Nothing
it?
is
Are
happening.
they complaining? The people in Osun State, they're not complaining.
but people really don't complain these days.
Oh, people
people
complain.
are
That's why
complaining.
there is a protest
Hey, no,
across
no, no.
Nigeria.
You know the
Well,
funny
well,
thing
maybe-
that I have. You know the
I was
problem.
gonna
I
say- yeah,
think
go
that
ahead.
I have a problem with Nigerians. A lot of Nigerians, and the way we used to. Okay, I'm not. I'm probably just shouldn't say this word. But the way we used
Then
to
don't
have,
say it.
ginger.
Just go
yeah?
ahead. Go ahead, say it. Okay.
When maybe you see something wrong in Lagos State.
We're excited about things.
Yeah.
You see, yes.
Or the FCT, or mostly Lagos State though, or will I say mostly the Southwest? Yeah, nobody says anything else anywhere else. It is what it is. We
Based
don't.
on your.
We don't. It's the truth. We don't. And my problem is that imagine if a Lagos State. I'm not saying that Lagos State is perfect.
Okay. No state is perfect.
No state is perfect. They can do more. They can do a lot more. But with the kind of policies and the kind of things that Lagos State is doing, for example, in Ogun State, for example, people are supposed to be getting free surgery now. Yeah? We're not making so much noise about it. But imagine if these states that are doing these things that are visible are not doing them. Imagine the noise that would have made.
Okay.
Now, I have an issue. You see how people trooped out for the protest in Lagos State? I'm still yet to see that kind of crowd that's happening in Osun State at the moment.
Yeah, we cannot compare. The reason why that might not happen is because
And I'm wondering,
Lagos-
there are still
Lagos-
tangible things you can even
La-
hold on to.
Lagos probably has at least twice the size of Osun when it comes to population.
Okay.
And when it comes to influx of people, I don't think there's any state in Nigeria, by extension of the world, that has people coming in on a daily as much as Lagos does. So you expect that there will be more people protesting in Lagos. And you see, the biggest issue again.
And there's a lot of focus in Lagos.
Yes.
Being
And the
a
biggest
commercial. a
nerve
commercial
center.
Yeah.
But you see, the biggest problem still remains that Lagos is a victim of its own success. People come to Lagos and become rich. They come to Lagos to make it. People are transacting business in Lagos. A lot of things are successful when they get to Lagos and they bring it to Lagos. You cannot compare that to other parts of Nigeria. Honestly, you can't. Doesn't mean that people are not thriving in those places. It just means that there's a higher volume or higher possibility that when you get to Lagos, you will become successful if you know what you're doing.
Everybody's coming to Lagos.
So we really can't equate that to it. And it doesn't mean that the governor of Osun is doing or not doing well. It just basically means that the focus will always be on Lagos. Lagos has more media houses, has more internet penetration, has more access to information than people. But you see, the real problem still goes back to me and you, Dolupo and Tokunbo. We might think that we are enlightened, but how well are we doing to enlighten other people? A lot of people are not informed. A lot of people are not.
Information.
So they're
is
going to
critical.
jump
They
on
will
the
jump
bandwagon.
Yeah, and conclude easily.
Yes.
That my governor is not doing anything compared to other governors. Meanwhile, the machinery in place for other governors that are doing something is let people know what we are doing. And by the way, I don't know why. I also thought that most of the governors will have jumped the seas with what Governor Sanwo-Olu did.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. No,
Yeah.
I think they have everything at their disposal to say, hey, come, Let's meet the people. Let's talk to the people. So it's not pride any longer.
Yeah.
It's what are you doing?
God bless you, Tokunbo.
Let's see what you are doing.
Sure. We're talking about practical governance now. We're talking about. I had a discussion with my siblings yesterday, and we were discussing practical Christianity. I'm saying that it's beyond standing on the pulpit now to tell me this is how it should be. It's you actually showing me and giving me. You know, we saw a Pastor Jimmy Odukoya the other day enhancing people's lives, and now it's now become the norm, and more people's lives are being impacted directly. That's practical Christianity.
That is.
And I compared it to when Jesus Christ fed thousands of people that had come to listen to him in a camp. They came to listen. And I said, compared to now, where some people will say, these people cannot go like that. Collect what they have on them. Let them walk. Christ said, imagine how people will faint. Don't let them go and faint. So we're talking practical governance also. And practical governance should go beyond governors just sitting down in their offices and telling us what they intend to do and to show us. And he has to go beyond that. Yeah. I saw a video of a pastor that was telling, he started planting yam in his backyard in bags of cement. And that thing is catching on now. Jeez. We honestly need to realize one thing, and this is why I encourage what that pastor was talking about. We're all stuck in the days of yore, and those days we were still complaining about them, but things have really gotten worse, and it's a global thing.
It is global.
Someone made a video.
Global.
It is global. You made a video the other day. The person made a video complaining about buying fuel for about 29 liters of fuel in England for about £50. And the guy is of Nigerian descent. He now made a quick calculation and said that's about 100,000 naira to buy a full tank. Some people can, I'm not saying it's right and I'm not saying it's wrong, but with 30K, you can still fill some cars up from scratch. Yeah.
But why not?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
And he didn't buy a full tank. He just got 20-something liters at £50, which is by black market rate over 100,000 naira. Shows you that it's a global trend. Like people are talking about how there's another lady that made a video. The video is viral now. How she used to buy meat at this price, buy sausages, and everything is more or less doubled or quadrupled or tripled the cost. This shows you that it's a global trend. So I'm not saying you should not drag him all you want. It's fine. He said he has encouraged it also, and that's why you notice that the police were there to guide people. As much as government has a judgment preventing this protest, they said, okay, no problem. Just make sure that you do not let it degenerate into a riot. And that's why the assembly has done things that you talked about that never happened in the past. It's just that the president is in support of all of these things, regardless of what is going on. But I'm saying that it's also time for me and you to look inwards and ask ourselves, what can we even do to help ourselves or help the people around us? It is important. Let us not get carried away. It is important for the religious bodies to wake up to their responsibilities now. It is beyond the ordinary. If we don't, there's a global crisis looming that is beyond COVID, lockdown, and everything. This is people really getting angry because they don't have access to food. They don't have access to the basic bare necessities of life.
Yeah. Somebody described the astronomical rate of or the increase in food as an hourly increase when food stuff are increasing by the hour, and I can't say no to that. But here we are though. Yeah, before everything got this good in quotes, right? Nigeria was servicing West African countries in a way. Okay, they always say when Nigeria coughs, all those West African nations will end up sneezing. They catch a cold. Okay, fine. Now, I'm telling you, people will go back and tell you that it's even not as pleasant as you think in those African countries anymore.
Yeah.
It's just the same thing we're going through. So some people will argue and say, go to the next country. They are even better. Their foodstuffs have not increased this level. And what's the population we're talking about? What's the population? How are we pretending that we do not know exactly what is happening in those places against what is happening here.
We're not insulated from this.
We are not insulated. Now, you said something, Shola. Everybody should begin to think of what you can do. To yourself first. To yourself first. Let me shock you. Check your wallet. What you have been spending, the amount you have been spending to buy things that are not worth it, okay?
That are not necessary.
That are not necessary.
It's time to stop it. Yeah.
It's time to stop it.
Yeah.
Stop. Listen, let's stop all this. All these things are just flamboyance, you know. Somebody is having a party somewhere, and you must get the ashwabi.
Is it a must?
Whether you like, you must join the wagon.
Must.
Okay? These are things people don't think about, and they jump into it and begin, and it hurts me.
I agree.
And that is why government also has to start looking inwards.
Yes, it's time we all really need to look
Cut
inwards.
those
like
things
you said,
down. Cut those things down.
There's time to do a lot of subsistence farming. You do that, you probably would save a lot of money over time. Like you said, ashwebis.
Cut it down.
A lot of times,
And that's just one of the things.
that's just one of the things. But when you really look at it, there's some things that you like, why am I even buying this thing in the first place? So maybe now that these things are expensive, maybe we'll start having sense. I'm talking about cutting stuff down. Yes, now. I'm talking about cutting stuff down. The federal government has approved the implementation of the Oronsaye report. So this report, I've been hearing about it for years. How it's supposed to be a report that is supposed to help cut down the cost of the civil service. Governance, basically. Now, before we go in depth into it, I know that the basic thing is they're saying that they're merging some agencies. They're subsuming some agencies, they're scrapping some agencies and all that. I have one question that's been going on in my mind. By the time they finally implement a lot of these things, a lot of people even have a lot of things to say that some agencies that they didn't announce should have been on the list, all that and all that. Are they going to redeploy people, or people are going to be laid off? Because if people are not going to be laid off, how does that reduce the cost of governance? At the end of the day, you're still going to have to pay these people same salaries, and it was just a random thought.
You say, no, you are right on target, because we've done something here, and I think we should just look at it. What are we going to save in terms of, now, that report actually said, that, oh my God, you'll be shocked, said that, 220 out of 541 government agencies have been involved. Okay, now let's look at the costs we'll be saving. If at all we save at all. He's saying that we would end up saving, huge billions of naira. In July, between July 2022 and up until this moment, it actually highlighted the number of agencies. I'm not going to that yet, but what it would amount to at the end of the day.
So my question
is how much?
My question there is that what is going to cause this savings?
Now, breakdown said 124.8 billion naira would have been reduced from agencies proposed for mergers. We will have saved 6.6 billion naira, from professional bodies. Now, it goes further to say 489.9 billion from universities and polytechnics would be 50.9 billion naira. Those were exactly the amount of money that this white paper said that we would have ended up saving by the mergers and the acquisitions and the scrappings. Scrappings, importantly. Now, the one Dolupo has said for me is this. How?
Yes.
We save the money.
How?
Salaries.
It means that they're going to lay people off?
It means that salaries will be reduced.
Okay, so...
they will reduce the salaries.
I think Tokunbo is still talking, so I don't want to...
Yeah, you can break in.
Okay.
In.
In answering the Dolupo's question, without even digging deep, and I like the background that Dolupo
Yeah.
and Tokunbo has
Yeah, the
provided.
breakdown.
So, for every agency, don't take it from the bottom, take it from the top.
Okay.
The cost of keeping those agencies running from the top to the bottom. You know, every agency has a DG, and there's a deputy DG, and then there's a board.
Yes.
And they all get paid, and they all get paid premium. So if you say, for instance, go from 200 plus agencies to 100 and something, you would have saved a lot from the top, because the salaries from those top people will no longer be paid.
So they're just going to sack off directors.
You know, what do you expect when one agency, if you imagine 2 agencies now, one agency has 7 to 9 people on their board
As directors.
and they're being paid. There's a DG. The DG will have orderly, Batman, all of those things.
But now they collapse them.
And when they collapse it into one, the other one that has 7, and everything becomes 7. Do you get? So some of those people are going to lose.
Oh, they're
those
actually
jobs.
going to lose
No,
jobs.
it's downsizing. They're going to lose their jobs and everything.
Okay.
Then
Now
apart
it's
from
getting-
salary,
getting-
we're just focusing on that. That's just one.
Yeah.
There are subventions that are being paid on an annual basis.
Yes.
They're getting subventions to run their business, to run their agencies and all of that. Then, in the area of professional bodies, you'll be shocked. We mentioned it here a couple of months ago. You'll be shocked at how some of these so-called professional bodies are being funded by government. The same bodies that are charging their members some monies every year to be members and everything. They need to look into their IGR and stop taking money from government.
From government.
You know, so,
Okay.
so a lot of
So let's get
a lot of
They're making money on the
expenses
side,
will be
and
will be
government
cut-
is also
cut down.
funding
cut
from the
down.
central.
So now let's start from agencies to be scrapped. They're saying that the pension transitional agreement directorate is to be scrapped, and the functions are to be transferred to the Federal Ministry of Finance. So meaning that all the people that work there are gone.
Not necessarily. So what could happen is that the Federal Ministry of Finance, if they have an existing department that does something similar, can absorb some of these people. Do you get it? If they don't, they can absorb a few of them and set up that department in-house.
In-house, yeah.
In-house, yeah.
Or they can just take a few of those people plus their own people and set up. At the end of the day, there'll still be a few people who are going to be out of job in that particular scenario.
Okay, also, another one is the National Senior Secondary Education Commission. What the hell is that?
National Senior Secondary.
Education Commission is to be scrapped, and functions are to be transferred to the Department of Basic and Secondary Education of the Federal Ministry of Education.
When you look at it,
That just
why
sounds like it's duplication.
It's
Why-
a duplicate.
why do you need a senior secondary school
Why?
commission when there is a basic education commission? Do you understand?
Yes.
These are the
Why?
issues.
So this one is gone. Now, before we go into the agencies that are going to be merged, I've been seeing a particular comment all day or since yesterday, since this have been announced. They're saying that, and I actually went to check it. Part of the Oronsaye report had read that the National Hajj and the National Hajj programs and the National Christian programs
Welfare.
Commission, those two, it was actually said that it needed to be scrapped.
Okay,
So why are they not being
No, they're
scrapped?
not being scrapped.
okay, so again, this is a good
Now,
point to
yeah.
establish that the Oronsaye report is just a report by Mr. Oronsaye
And his team.
and his team. It is, however, something that has to be ratified and analyzed and broken down into a white paper. So whenever government sets out to get such reports, they don't take it hook, line, and sinker.
Good.
They bring it in and now
Take
set
the
up
one
a
that
committee.
applies to them.
The committee now writes a paper. on
That's
it.
right.
So the white paper is what government now uses for implementation, not the report.
Very good. I like the way you've dropped it. Now you've taken us back to somewhere. The white paper, there are 2
Yeah.
white papers commissioned based on
On
this
this report.
on this report.
Yes.
And one man, I think Okekeke or so, Okeleke, who happens to be a former head of service, okay, was handling one of them committees, and did say at that time that they discovered that they would need to sit down with the head of the National Assembly before they could make their cases known. And they asked why. And he said further, he said, look, the reason is because most of the things that they found were actually sent in by the National Assembly. The National Assembly actually was responsible at that time, okay, for ratifications
Of those things. Yeah.
Legal binding and all, and these things still fall under the National Assembly. And they have not been able to do that. That was why under Jonathan, they couldn't get it done.
Okay.
They
So
couldn't get it done.
that's making sense. So let's move on quickly from that. And now, agencies that are to be merged. The National Agency for Control of AIDS, NACA, is now to be merged with the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC.
Why did we have
And the
to
founder,
split that initially?
I think there was NACA was older than
It wasn't
NCDC.
about it being split or
NACA.
splitted or whatever. NACA had been in existence based
Before
on the exigencies
The
of
problems
time.
At that
They
time.
had to quickly create an agency for that, and they did well because
True.
the man from Nigeria was taken
True.
abroad for this
Yeah,
purpose.
yeah.
Now, it's the same thing with the NCDC. Now, see, NCDC exists in places like America under a
The
different name.
CDC.
So, what Nigeria did was to invite one of the very best, who was a Nigerian and was based abroad. And Buhari brought him home and said, set this thing up. Let's have. And you know the funny thing? A few months after the setup,
Was when COVID hit.
COVID
yes.
came.
and it was very important. But now, looking back with the benefit of hindsight, if you merge them and you put a very competent person in charge,
There's no need for
would be
a different one.
would
So it makes
function.
sense, yeah, it makes sense. Now, the National Emergency Agency, NEMA, is going to be merged, which I think they're doing beautiful work, though. Is going to be merged with the National Commission Refugee, Migration, and Internally Displaced Persons.
Yeah, because again, their work is similar. And they will complement each other if they are merged.
Okay. The Directorate of Technical Cooperation in Africa is to be merged with the Directorate of Technical Aid and to function as a department in the Ministry of Foreign
Ministry of
Affairs.
Foreign Affairs.
Very good call.
That's
by
a nice
Mr.
one.
Oronsaye.
Yes.
Also, the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, ICRC, is to be merged with the Bureau of Public Enterprise.
Because at the end of the day, it's what the BPE does that the ICRC
does, yes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Now, the National Investment Promotion Commission, NIPC, is to be merged with the Nigerian Export Promotion Council.
That makes a lot of sense because export promotion and investment can fall under the same
umbrella, yeah. Also, the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, is to be merged with the Nigeria Center for Agriculture, Mechanization, and the Project Development Institute.
Funny thing is, some of these agencies already started collaborating with themselves. Remember that there was this signing that took place outside Nigeria that people had
But
complained
isn't there
about.
going to be a lot of fights? Because, take for example,
You'll be shocked.
even
You're
if
right.
even if people don't, maybe the orgas, take for example, some people don't lose their jobs. Yeah, people that maybe in the federal civil, except people that are appointed, people that are already in the service and they are at par, at maybe on the same level, and then take for example, I'm going to give an example of the FRCN and the Voice of Nigeria. They're part of the people that are going to be merged, and I think it's called it's going to be called the Federal Broadcasting Corporation of Nigeria. Now, it means, by the way it is, they're saying that it is the FRCN is absorbing the VON. Means that there's possibility that is the orgas in FRCN that will remain the orgas there.
Possibility. There's no guarantees.
No,
in this restructuring and acquisitions and mergers.
What happens? Because if you're not careful, your person and your power will probably be your organ.
Under the same structure you're talking about, NTA also is part of it.
No, it's not.
Should be.
They're not.
They're not.
They're not.
They should
NTA
be.
should be.
But they're not.
They're not.
They're not, but they should be. Let me. Yeah, go ahead. Maybe because it's TV.
Yeah, maybe because it's TV, but
and programs.
at the end of the
dissemination will
day,
be
there
different.
should just be different TV and radio of the same broadcasting corporation left to
so as soon as we heard this. We've already heard it before. But when they made that pronouncement again and said they are going to, there's actually no need for a name change regarding the Voice of Nigeria and the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, because the Voice of Nigeria used to be a radio station, more or less.
External.
It's radio.
It's radio.
And it was
external
broadcasting
service
to the world and everything. FRCN was broadcasting within Nigeria.
Yes.
So when you merge it, you don't need a name change. You don't need a change in nomenclature. Because why? It's still radio. But when you now merge it and call it broadcast, broadcasting transcends radio. TV is a form of broadcasting also. So, but you're not bringing any TV arm into it, except you want to duplicate the efforts of the NTA, which again takes you back to what? Wastage. So at the end of the day, the name change service is very unnecessary. However, let us also understand that there's going to be some kind of implementation committee and structure set up that will make sure that all of these confusions are avoided. That make sure that it's not just going to say, they're not going to say, Naseni and Proda, go and sit down and talk. They're actually going to tell them, this is the new structure, this is the new DG.
They're quite a number, The National Theatre is to be merged with the National Troupe. The National Commission for Museums and Monuments to be merged with the National Gallery of Arts. The National Metallurgical Development Center, what the hell is
mineral,
that?
Come on.
To be merged with the National Metallurgical Training Institute. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, so again, the Training Institute is the one that's actually, if you're going to look at it, is the one that's actually supposed to come under the Meteorological
Development Center.
But whatever it is,
at
the end of the day, it's a streamlining of activities. It's going to make them more functional if the people who are involved with the entire structuring have done it properly, so that everything is clear, is in black and white.
Okay.
This is how we want to go
also,
about
the
it.
National Army University is going to be merged with the Nigeria Defense Academy, and a few other things.
There's the Air Force unit of that unit also that's going to be, which is the way it should be.
I think we're getting a
also
clearer
the Air
picture.
Force Institute of Technology, they're all now going to be under the Nigeria Defense Academy.
Well, are we really going to save money?
That's what I'm saying. Like, are we really going to save money, or we're just changing nomenclature?
We will be saving money. Again, like I told you guys are looking at it from one angle. So let's look at it from many angles. Again, these guys collect subventions. You have forgotten.
Okay,
They do.
These agencies have their own, what's it called? They have their own budgets.
And those subventions are huge.
Now, those budgets are not going to occur again. Take, for example, agencies that are going to subsumed. Servicom is going to be subsumed and function as a department under the Bureau of Public Service Reforms. The National Salaries, Income and Wages Commission is going to be subsumed under the Revenue Mobilization Fiscal Allocation Commission. Yes. The Public Complaints Commission is going to be under the National Human Rights Commission. The Nigerian Institute of Trypanosomiasis, are you kidding?
Yeah.
It's going to be subsumed in the Institute of Veterinary Research. The Nigerian Natural Medicine Development Agency is going to be under the National Institute of Pharmaceutical Research and Development. The Nigeria Film and Video Censors Board is going to be subsumed as a department in the Ministry of Arts, Culture, and there are a few of them. The Nigerian Diaspora Commission is going to be converted into an agency and transferred to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Why is it's not under?
Diaspora.
So, are you saying that that was just answers to the president directly?
Yeah, because there was a time when there was this clash about where they could set up their office and all of that. And only just last week, there were one or two African countries that came to understudy what the Diaspora Commission...
Because basically, they really should be working with the Foreign Affairs Ministry.
So, I like the fact that they want to bring them under that place, but still allow them work as an agency, not as a department.
They must exist as an agency.
Yeah, so what is looking like is that some are just going to be departments under some agencies.
Some will definitely.
So I think when we look at budgets, when you work as a department now, you don't have separate budget anymore.
No, you get your running costs. They call it running costs under your subvention, under the subvention of the ministry, they give you your own running costs. So you're still caring for whatever. So many things take money away.
Yeah.
One is running the infrastructure itself. The structures that house the agency or the ministry, okay, which has to do with electricity.
Yeah, so we're saying that some of these things are moved.
Salaries, and that salary thing is a whole restructuring.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's
it looks like it's going to be a lot of work.
In every way.
But we'll see how it's going to be implemented. Anyway, before we quickly go, I know that there are a lot that we couldn't talk about. But there's a gist that happened. So Super Falcons defeated Cameroon. Kudos to them, yeah.
I like the style switch.
It's interesting. But the more interesting one is what happened at the
events.
At the
games.
Game.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people, or it looked like there were allegations of Cameroonians using voodoo or juju on the net.
Allegedly.
Well, yeah, the story was told of how the Cameroonian players were basically trying to get into the Nigerian net with or without the ball. No player even goes into the net except your name is Rashidi Yekini and you scored the first.
You scored. You
first
follow the goal.
at
You follow the goal
and you follow
into.
the ball through. So the Cameroonian players is not even alleged. The videos are out there. They were there basically trying to act all sorts of funny, touching the goalpost of Nigeria and the net and everything. The Nigerian players tried to prevent them. Like, what are you doing there? Even the referee tried to prevent them, but they were very adamant about it, and he almost led to some kind of fisticuff at some point in time. We saw Assistant Oshoala really playing the mother hen role, protecting our players and everything, and it is funny that in 2024 that people are still going to come play football anywhere in the world and think that some kind of juju, muti or voodoo would work for them. The Nigerian coach, who happens to be an American, was like, he has no idea what they're talking about. Doesn't understand what happened.
Yeah.
But one of the players, Deborah, who was at the press conference, she was at the presser. She said, "Look, like, and she's saying that, look, I understand what they were doing, but we see it as a distraction because we believe in God and all of that, so we're not bothered about whatever happened." But that's basically what happened in Abuja yesterday.
Wow.
Okay. See how much of things that we can still talk about. I can't talk about like serious gist anymore because it will take a lot of time. But anyway, wanted to give you one gist. How rats grounded Sri Lankan airline for about 3 days. And you were wondering. So literally a stowaway rat was found on the plane, Sri Lankan Airlines Airbus A330 flight from Pakistani city of Lahore last week Thursday, and this now caused them that they needed to really do a lot of thorough checking. It was only one rodent they found, but maybe the rat had eaten some things and done all sorts of things. Any which way, nobody flew for 3 days because of one rodent.
Yeah.
Talking about the mighty mouse.
The mighty mouse.
Powerful in many
Very
ways.
powerful. Very, very. That I can tell you, for example. Okay, for just wanted to put this out there before we go. The CBN has increased the interest rate to 22.75%.
Yeah,
from 18.75, I think.
The committee that does that met today, and usually, according to the experts, although I don't understand, when they increase this thing, it helps the economy. It is well. One day we will understand
those things. Anyway, also just wanted to put it out there. Fulham midfielder Alex Iwobi, who a lot of people gave a lot of backlash during interestingly, was actually named over the weekend the Premier League in the Premier League team of the week.
Yeah, he made that distinction by scoring the winning goal at Old Trafford for his team that had been struggling so hard without himself and his Nigerian brother Calvin Bassey. Funny enough, that game was tagged by the football troll. It says, Man United 1, Nigeria 2, because it ended 1-2 in favor of Fulham.
Anyway, and on that note, that is all we'll be able to take today on the Boombar. Thank you for listening. Thank you very, very, very much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time to give you another wonderful edition of the bar. Do you have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead?